Hey everybody, so this is Ryan, head of the Harvey Historical Society and Harvey resident. This is Patricia Bonk.
Hi.
She is running for Will Davis's, currently is occupying the state representative seat for the area. And we went on a tour of Harvey today. I wanted to show her the problems of poverty and decay and neglect that are largely a result of political corruption, which has been furthered by politicians like Will Davis, who are not really doing anything to address it and not doing anything to help fix up our communities. So, unfortunately, I wanted to just get Patricia's thoughts on the tour of Harvey today, but we went over here. As you can see, these are two homes that are owned by Mayor Christopher Clark, and I wanted to get some photos because one of them is under construction, and then we were also checking out the retention pond across the street, which is new, as well as the new school building. And, you know, just normal stuff that I do as I love to document all the buildings in Harvey. And we were actually stopped by a police officer and asked for our IDs and asked if everything was okay. Apparently because we were taking photos of houses that the mayor owns, which, like I said, we're not doing anything illegal or untoward or unethical. But I just wanted to see, Patricia, what was your reaction to that? And I wanted to ask, like, would that happen where you live in Midlothian?
I was completely surprised because we weren't doing anything illegal, as you said. So I don't think that would happen where I live in Midlothian. So as Ryan said, we weren't doing anything. We were minding our own business. We've been looking at houses for a couple hours now, so I didn't see anything wrong with it. So luckily he took our information and then he left.
Right. And the whole encounter was kind of surreal because I almost didn't. I asked Patricia, I was like, well, should we even give him our IDs? This is crazy. We didn't do anything illegal. And I told the officer that. I said, oh, no, I still want to see it anyway. I mean, I don't think we were actually legally required even to give our IDs, but it really freaked me out since I've already been arrested. Since the mayor has this personal vendetta against me, I've been arrested just for videoing at a public meeting. But it's interesting that this happened where someone else who lives in an adjacent town, who also happens to be running for state rep, it was unplanned, but she got to personally see what a lot of our residents go through every day, where our police are sent to not actually solve crimes and help protect people, but to help protect certain politicians and to intimidate their opponents. Now, what did you hear on the radio when we were with the guy?
I was just going to say, while we were speaking with the officer, on his radio, it came across that there was a shooting on Myrtle. We weren't doing anything.
Right.
So
how do you feel that differs from what you see in Midlothian?
I don't. Is this profiling? I don't know. They obviously know Ryan's car, I bet. So I really don't understand why you would just try and get IDs from somebody that's not doing anything.
Right. And then like you said, your mayor, I've never met him, but I know of him. I mean, you can walk in front of his house and take photos of the block or do whatever you want, right?
Yep.
Are the Midlothian police going to pull up to you and question you?
Mm-hmm.
Ask for your ID? Okay.
I've been out knocking on doors in Midlothian and nobody stops me and asks me, what are you doing?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought so. I was like, this is so weird. Sometimes we have PTSD here in Harvey because we go through all this stuff and we're like, wait, we have to actually ask. You don't go through this in your community, right?
No.
So, what can you see that you do differently that Will Davis is not doing to address some of these problems?
Well, for one thing, he's still not talking to the residents, and I think we need to do something to encourage people to come into town and rebuild the town and bring in more businesses, which you're not going to do with the way things are right now. So your small businesses are the foundation of any community. So we really need to encourage that. Plus, that would bring some relief on property taxes for the residents if there are businesses in there sharing that responsibility.
Right, definitely. We definitely need the tax revenue. Would you like to comment on the fact that we have reached out, different residents and politicians, we have reached out to Will Davis in the past for help on various issues, whether it's our new metro station or the residents being potentially displaced by Mayor Clark's public project on Myrtle. but a lot of issues of violence, unsolved murders, things that are very important to the community. We feel that we've just been ignored. I mean, how would you respond differently to Will Davis to that? And what if we voted for you in April, right? April, what would you do differently?
Well, number one, having town hall meetings and talking to the residents about their concerns, because I don't see that's happening. And it seems like Harvey, Dixmoor, Dalton, this area is so underserved. I don't understand why he's not coming and talking to the residents. He said in his postcard that he's the voice of his district in Springfield, but I don't see it.
Okay, right. And I was going to say a lot of us have experienced that too. Yeah, anything else that you want to, any other, I guess, impressions of, as you're going through Harvey? And can you imagine, like I said, when, some of the things that you've seen and that we've asked for help for, how does that make you feel when you see some of the conditions here? And, we've asked for help from Will Davis and other politicians, and we're told, your mayor's doing a fine job and we're not going to get involved. What's your reaction? How does that make you feel?
Well, he has to be involved. This is his district. And I don't care if somebody is friends with a particular politician or mayor. That's not what it's all about. The people that he's working for are the people in the district, not the other politicians. So, and I don't see that happening. And that won't happen if I'm your state representative.
Okay, and then do you have any other proposals or ideas as far as how to address some of this corruption, which is also tied into the high property taxes, and which a lot of people are complaining about? Do you have some ideas you can share with us?
Well, I'd like to see Kwame Raoul kind of get on board with this and see that there's no transparency, that meetings are canceled last minute, which goes against OMA, and which is Open Meetings Act. There's also FOIA requests, my understanding, that are being ignored, which is also a violation. So I'd like to see Kwame Raoul be involved in this, because he oversees FOIA and Open Meetings Act. So where is he?
Right.
Not just Will Davis.
And I have to note, I don't hide. I'm a registered Democrat. Typically, I will vote for Democrats a lot, but I know some of you are saying, oh, well, but Patricia's running as a Republican, and I'm, I hate Trump, or maybe I'm not a fan of the Republican Party, but I think we would want to make a distinction, and I'll let Patricia speak to this, that, even Patricia and I might not agree on every issue, the local politicians and the local party are different from what we're seeing on the national stage right now. But do you want to speak to that? In other words, why would someone who usually votes Democrat, which is what happens in Harvey and a lot of our communities, why should that not matter? It doesn't bother me. Especially locally, I'm more concerned about what you're going to do specifically in your track record, as a nurse and other things. But how would you speak to that voter who's like, oh, I don't know, I never vote Republican. Those are the Trumpers, and I don't like Trump. But how is it different when it's a local race?
You mean with the state rep?
Right.
Well, you need to look at
state. I'm sorry, not local, but
that's okay.
But not federal, anyway.
Right. So you have to look at the track record with Will Davis in particular. He has. The reason I got into this was I would call his office. I follow the bills, and I call his office. Not so much lately because I'm running against him. I'd ask him about the bills, please call me back, which he'll deny that I ever said that, and he never calls me back. So I'm not the only one, and I've talked to people, they say they never talked to him. They didn't even know who he was. So that's a problem. And downstate, just so you know, all these people that are trying to figure out how they're going to pay their property taxes, because you realize in 1 year we've had 3 property tax bills, because the first one that was supposed to be the last one in the last, it's probably not making sense, the last installment from the last year got delayed. So now people are ending up paying for 3 instead of 2 installments. And so these people are trying to figure out, where am I going to get this money? Well, downstate, they went ahead and they gave themselves a 5% raise when all these people are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. And if I were in office, I would work to rescind that raise. That's
You're
wrong.
saying that, okay, so I didn't even know that all the legislators got a 5% raise?
Yeah, they did. And
crazy.
there's some good Democrats down there. But for people to just go along to get along with the party, it's wrong. And as a Republican, if I don't agree with the legislation and if the people in the district say, yeah, we don't like that, we don't agree with it, then I'm not going to vote yes on it because I'm voting for you.
Right.
I'm your voice. I'm not voting along party lines.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a chance
Yeah.
to respond. Thank you, Patricia. And we're gonna go. Hopefully, we don't get harassed by Harvey Police anymore, because we're just taking pictures and doing tours and doing all the things that I normally do anyway at running the Historical Society. But thank you for coming out and hearing. And then we'll be sure to we'll try to do some more interviews with you in the future and some of the other people running.
Go on my website, bonkforrep.com, and send me a message if you want to talk to me.
Excellent. And then as well, I think Will Davis is the only other one that I know of. Yeah, no, it's just Will and you. I don't think there's any third-party ones. So, Rep. Davis, we're also happy to do an interview with you. We haven't really, heard much from your office as of late, but, we try to give everybody a voice, so, and let the voters decide. So thank you. Thanks for coming out and showing interest in Harvey.
Thank you. And I'll be back knocking on doors.
Okay. Bye-bye.